I'm Jessica Cootie, joined by Special Teams Coordinator Ed Foley. Well, I've had a chance to chat with you a couple of times on recruiting days that you guys have brought guys in. You're loving being here at Nebraska.
I do. I love the energy of Lincoln, and I've been to Omaha a few times in the recruiting process, and I think this eastern Nebraska is going to be a great place to recruit, but a great place to live.
You have been with Coach Wolf for a long time. A lot of these guys on the staff has, and when the conversation started coming up about going to Nebraska, why did you feel like you guys would fit here and this would fit you guys?
I just felt like, as an older guy, knowing all the tradition and what has gone on here, and knowing some people that have worked here, and what a great place it is to work, the commitment to the facilities, Trev, everything that's going on here in terms of the alumni getting involved with the program. When we were talking about it, I was like, boy, that would be a great place to work.
You got out on the road as soon as you got here, and you had some tweets with some food and all of that. How much do you enjoy that, getting in recruits' rooms and getting to know those families?
Well, the food. I mean, we're gonna do the food. So the first thing we do is we find out where the players are, then we find out where the food is. So I had to find the local places, and got out in the neighborhood and found out some people got some recommendations of some good local flavor stuff. So I'm not going to come here and go recruiting and go to Chili's. Like I had nothing wrong with Chili's, it's good, but like I'm trying to get the local flavor. So great players and great food in that first week.
Some players that may or may not be on special teams, but you spent some time with and that I talked to and love getting to know you. What's that like when you go and you're starting to get to know some of these new kids and trying to get them to come play for you guys?
The great thing about the special teams coach is you can talk to anybody and everybody. So like sometimes if you're recruiting and it's like there's a wide receiver and the offensive line coach goes to see him, he's like, what's up? But as a special teams coach, one of the great things is you get to work with everybody on the team, so you can recruit everybody. And at this point where we are, just kind of coming here and getting out on the road, I think it's important for a lot of guys to get out and just go and cover as much ground as possible. So that's what we were trying to do. And especially with me getting out locally and getting a feel for what the area was like locally, I got to see some great players. I saw linemen and wide receivers and all different positions, and it was great.
This is a staff that you guys are pretty familiar with each other and all have worked together or have connections. How seamless was it, or as seamless as it could be, when you guys are coming here and getting out on the road and trying to figure out how to attack recruiting and everything else? Well,
it's great because you have a natural trust. It's like working with your family. It's like, and we haven't all been together through the whole ride, but we coached, Matt and I coached a lot of these guys. Some of these guys have worked with us. Some guys have worked with us and not played for us. But when you're traveling with similar, comfortable faces, you can get right into it. We get right into having fun with each other. We trust each other's evaluations, but we count on each other, so we're not afraid to be like, hey, I really like this guy. Can you look at him real quick? And it's, even with the kickers, like some of the other guys were looking at the kickers, but I'm looking at tight ends, I'm looking at wide receivers, I'm looking at some offensive players, giving those guys feedback. They're doing the same for me. We're in a room, there's 4 or 5 of us watching film, and then when we go out and we come back and we talk about guys, there's just a trust and a familiarity with each other.
All right, let's talk about a couple of your guys that are coming in. Tristan Alvano, a kid that Nebraska people around here are very familiar with. Boy, he had a heck of a high school career, especially as of late. In the Class A state title game, 5 field goals, which was a state record, 45-yarder to win it.
Yep.
What was your impressions of him when you saw his film?
Well, one of the biggest fears right away when you're looking at a kicker and making a determination of whether you're going to scholarship him or not is, what kind of kicks did he make? I mean, if we're talking about scholarship and a kicker, you're assuming his leg is really good and he's made a lot of kicks. But has he made a lot of kicks under pressure? And Tristan has absolutely done that. So that's one of the great things right away that you look at, is seeing that big kick in the end is a huge difference for me looking at kickers, because now I have the comfort level of knowing not only did he make the kick, but he made it on our home field, in the college uprights, off the ground. So the whole concept of that kick, and he had some other game winners too on his film. If you study what he's done over his career, he's made a bunch of kicks to win games. So that made the recruiting that cemented everything for me with Tristan more than ever. But he's also a great kid. Like, He's got a good frame on him. He's going to get bigger. He's athletic. So there's a lot of things about Tristan. I was talking to some people that had seen him kick live, and they ranked these guys and all that. But there's some people out there that think that he is definitely one of the top 2 or 3 kickers in the entire country, and he's right here in our backyard.
Yeah, and he had started to pick up recruiting interest. So and then he talked about how his relationship with you and you really sold him on that. So what is your sell to a kicker like that, like Tristan, to come here?
Well, the old staff paved the way by offering him, so then it was a matter of just getting a look at the film really quickly and then trying to get him comfortable with the fact that he was still going to be offered. So that was the first thing that we wanted to get done. And when you work for Coach Rule's committed to special teams. I mean, we have specialists that are coming in this class right away. That ought to tell you, like, hey, here's a guy that's really, committed to doing that. So we looked at the film. We came up with the idea, like, hey, we can't let this guy go. Watching the film, like, wow. So we did. That was the first step, and we weren't even out on the road yet when we made that first communication with him, and then immediately got to the high school and started to build a relationship face to face. Built a relationship with the family. They came down here, and the whole thing. So we accelerated the process as much as we could legally. And it was a fit. It was real. It was not beyond just a fit. It was a great fit. It was. I think he's going to thrive here, and I'm excited to coach him.
How important is that Nebraska talent, locking that up?
It's huge because this is a really good state. Like I didn't know that before. I mean, it was very evident right away how good of a state this is. But there's players in this state, and they're coming to Nebraska. So let's, like there's been some other schools that have gotten in here and made some headway recruiting Nebraska. That's over. We're coming in now. We're going to hit multiple coaches, multiple schools. We're going to be in the schools more than anybody else, as much as we can legally. We're going to communicate as much as we can, and we're keeping these guys in state.
All right, Marco Ortiz, a transfer from Florida, long snapper.
Yes. Yep.
What have you seen out of him? Why did you want to bring him in?
Marco is an outstanding snapper. He has college experience. He was the starting snapper for the University of Florida, so he snapped in the SEC. He snapped for an entire year in a game there, and he's really good. He's accurate. He's got good velocity. He's a short snapper and a long snapper. He has length to protect, and he's athletic enough to cover. He is the kind of the prototypical guy that's entering now into the NFL. So, having done this for the last 3 years in the NFL, he's the kind of guy that I wanted to get, and we were able to get him. And I'm excited to have him and have him come here and compete for the starting job.
How critical is that for special teams?
It's really critical, and again, it's a statement to what Coach Rule's commitment is going to be to being good on special teams, that we got to have good specialists. I always make the old joke. It's like, Coach, how do you recruit a good snapper? And I say, I watch the film and I get one that's really good, and then I convince them to come. Because you can coach them, but again, the pressure of the snap, the ability to cover, protect at the same time with accuracy on the snap is not easy to do. So to see him already having done that at the University of Florida is huge for us.
All right, now that signing day's in the books, what's next on the agenda?
The next thing on the agenda is to enjoy the holidays to the best of my ability. Try not to gain too much weight. Go home and spend some time with the kids. My wife has been up here and you met my wife, for the last couple of recruiting weekends. She's been up here, which has been awesome. Coach wants the wives and families to be involved, but my kids have more activities than I do, so they're very busy, so I'm going to go home and spend some time with them. I don't have any agenda other than to spend time with my children, but I'm going to do that at home over the holidays, and we're going to come back here and get ready for the next recruiting cycle.
All right, enjoy the holidays. Ed Foley, appreciate your time.
Thank you.